Lauren, you've been in the job a few weeks now. How are you enjoying it?
Yeah, really good. I feel like it's a completely different environment than what I'm used to, but I'm enjoying every minute of it. The girls have really welcomed me from the second I got here. When I met them in Trinity Square, from that second, straight away they were really welcoming towards me. And alongside that, obviously, the girls have performed really well, and the atmosphere that they've got is exciting. It's not just a case of them training, it's the whole atmosphere around it, how they go about training, how they go about games is really professional, so it's a really good environment.
Yeah, and then obviously you already had a pre-existing relationship with Chris Fairless, the coach, before you came in. Has that helped you settle in a bit more?
Yeah, definitely. It helped that I knew Chris, obviously coming into an environment where you don't particularly know anybody apart from, well, not knowing anybody at all can be completely different, whereas if you know someone, especially somebody that you're working quite close with, it does help. And it means that before I even came in, I knew what I was in for slightly, and I knew what I was working with, especially because I've worked with Chris in a coaching environment and I've been coached by Chris, which helped me understand a little bit better how I knew he was going to coach. And then obviously on top of that, I meant the moment I walked through the door, it wasn't a case of having to do like meet and greet of all the coaches and stuff like that. I already knew Chris, so the banter just got going straight away.
Yesterday you actually had your first experience coaching at ITY without Chris, with Chris being away on his study visit down at WAF. How did that go?
Yeah, really good. I think now that we've had 2 weeks for the girls to get to know me, and me to get to know the girls, it was quite an easy process in terms of because I'm quite an excitable coach anyway. I think they've got to know me quite well, quite easily. Obviously they're quite excitable within themselves as well, so we've bonded quite well in that manner, which meant I think over the last 2 weeks we've also managed to get the girls to understand how I coach, and Chris has gave me quite a bit of freedom on the coaching side of things, whether that's in training or in games, which has really helped, because when it's a third game in and you're coaching it by yourself straight away, it did mean that they understand how you want to play a little bit more. And I think because me and Chris are on the same wavelength, it made the process quite easy.
Yeah, and then the game itself is obviously good for us. Another 3 points, that makes it 4 from 4 so far this season. Were you satisfied?
Definitely. I mean, as I say, it was an easy process, but there was obviously a lot of pressure on that game as well, because it was one of the biggest games of the season so far. And not only that, it'll probably be one of the biggest games of the season in the future as well. At the end of the day, that could have ended up being, if we've dropped points, it could have been at the end of the season where that could have been a game that cost us. So it was really important that we took the 3 points yesterday on a pitch that we're not necessarily used to. It's quite a small pitch, and we've got a bigger pitch here by a country mile. So I think it meant that we had to adapt to the kind of football that we played. We also were allowed to play our game, but at times we had to change our game a little bit. To be able to adapt to it and play.
Stephanie Reyes managed to bag a hat-trick, which is great for her, great for us.
Yeah, definitely.
What would you say about her performance in that game?
I was really impressed. From the minute that she got there, she was outstanding. The second she got on the pitch, because she scored in the first minute, she challenged the keeper on the first one. Delighted for her, because for a new player coming in, it's not just a case of performing on the pitch, it's understanding the team around you and understanding each other. She's made friends quite quickly. She's a big character in the team, and it's what's been helpful for her is that when she's come in, she didn't get on the pitch at the snap of a finger. It was a case of when she did get on the pitch, you knew that she was going to work hard. She worked hard, and she got a reward, which was starting yesterday, and she's took that with both hands and managed to bag a hat-trick. I think she's made quite a big impression as well, because she's played 2 games prior to that and scored 3 goals. So straight away she scored more goals than she's played. And then obviously yesterday she's earned it to have her right on the pitch. She's played outstanding, and then managed to bag a hat-trick, like we say.
Yeah. And then next week, Bucks gets started as well, so the girls are going to be fighting on 2 fronts.
Yeah.
Are we ready for that?
Yeah, I think we are. We've got a number of players in the team that are raring to go. Obviously, some of them have had quite a lot of game time already, whereas others are fighting to get onto that pitch. And I think next week gives the girls that haven't had much time to get on the pitch and time to prove who they are and what they can do. It does mean that like I say, those girls can show what they've got, and it means that they can push between the two squads. Obviously, those squads might fluctuate a little bit between who's playing. It might mean that some might sit on the bench and then come across and get to play, which is helpful for us as coaches, because it means that a lot of the girls are getting the game time, which is the reason they come across here, to learn and to be able to show us what they can do. And obviously they can do that whilst they're in training, but they can also go into games and perform. And when they do that and they take the opportunity like Steph did yesterday, you get those experiences where you're getting hat-tricks in a 4-3 win. And obviously with the Bucks being competitive, it also means that those girls can now progress in that league, and hopefully they can go for promotion in that league, which is a massive thing. And I think what we've got to understand is, yes, we're looking to progress and do well in the National Football Youth League, but also we're looking to progress and do well in Bucks. So we've got to go out all guns blazing next week, and it's a chance for the whole squad to show us what they can do.
Yeah, you mentioned just there that you're looking to get promotion in the Bucks League.
Yeah.
But as for the NFYL, how far can the girls go in that league this season?
For me, I think the girls have shown in the first 4 games. They've played some very good, very competitive teams. Teams that have players playing Tier 4, Tier 3 football. They've also played players that are in the England pathway, so they've shown what their capability is. I think there's nothing less than these girls looking to win it this year. They've already showed that they've played the champions of last year and won already. And they've also played the likes of WAF, who were high competitors last year. And I think going into this year, I think all we're looking at is performing week by week, getting the results week by week, and trying not to look too far ahead. If we look too far ahead, we'll get too caught up in it, and then it'll cause problems as the games are closer to us. So I think it's really important that we take a game at a time. But obviously, mine and Chris's aims are to look to win the National Football Youth League this year.
Thanks very much, Simon.
Thanks.